you know.
Well, Trump just blew past. He just the one thing that we'll have to say about him is he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and my people wouldn't give a shit. He actually is an adjudicated rapist on Fifth Avenue. A court of competent jurisdiction, a judge said by any common definition of the word rape, you raped that woman.
This is the dressing room one?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that may have happened, but I mean...
But a jury in a court said it did.
That fucking means nothing to me, because I know what they know, which is nothing. They know two people said two different things about something that happened in the 90s and of which there's no witnesses or tape.
Well, you know
so
what?
I can't, look, I hate Donald Trump as much as anybody, but I can't say for sure I just know that. Just because 9 people said they think that, I can't.
First of all,
but yes.
they had more evidence. In other words,
did?
Yes. So she told me
what was
this
the
happened.
What was the evidence?
Other people that she told contemporaneous with it.
Well,
which whatever. A jury said that, that he
you know
did.
What? You know more about this case than apparently I do, and maybe if I knew everything, I would be completely.
I know that a jury.
Yeah.
I tend to have more faith than most people in juries. I think most of them really try to weigh what's there, and I do know that a jury. But now I get too technical here, but by a preponderance of the evidence,
right?
It's a little bit of a different standard in a criminal case. It's beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm admitting I didn't know that there was like evidence. I just thought it was he said, she said. So
all right, folks, buckle up because things got heated when Bill Maher sat down with James Carville, and honestly, it didn't take long for the gloves to come off. Carville came out swinging, straight up, saying that while not every Trump supporter is a racist, every racist seems pretty cozy under Trump's tent. And you better believe that set off a firestorm. Carville went off, painting the GOP as a party that's morphed from your old school business-first conservatives into this wild playground of populist, right-wing nationalism. He's basically saying, look at Ron DeSantis, look at Vivek Ramaswamy. They're all just trying to out-crazy Trump to win over the most extreme corners of the base. But Maher wasn't letting the left off the hook either. He zoomed out and started torching the far left for being just as insane in their own way. Obsessed with ideological purity, cancel culture, and tribal loyalty that, let's be real, starts to look a whole lot like the MAGA movement they claim to hate. And here's the thing, both Maher and Carville agreed on one brutal truth: political discourse in America is completely off the rails. Republicans aren't just battling Democrats anymore. They're treating them like a bigger threat than Russia. Yeah, Russia. This wasn't just some polite sit-down. It was a raw, honest look at how loyalty to party and ideology is steamrolling common sense, pragmatism, and any shot at real debate. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's break it all down together.
There is a genius to his madness, and the thing I always say about Trump, you have to remember, he's stupid and crazy, and they're two completely different things. And this is like the crazy part works for him because he's without a mechanism to edit or to pull back. So, you know, as my friend Jimmy always says, insanity photographs. You can't take your eyes off him. Obviously, whenever they put him on TV, the ratings go through the roof. And that's why insane people are charismatic. You can't look away. So when he does all this, I mean, not just sexual stuff, but certainly the sexual stuff, it's like, I'm going to own. No one else in the world would even think of this as a strategy. And he has no strategy. It's just what he feels. He's all id. But to own that, to own being this kind of guy, and half the country likes it. Or at least it's not a deal breaker because they feel like it's honest.
At least he's honest. He says what he thinks.
As
He doesn't have to. And the thing really like is he tells you it's okay if you hate other people. And he validates what that guy says. I like because he says what I think.
Well, he plays on the fact that his people think that your people hate them. and look down on them and see them as deplorables. I mean, I think they take...
So, you know, there's some truth to that.
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that.
And I'm as good a Democrat
Yes,
as
you
the next
are.
person. But you hear this shit, so I don't know if we ever talked about this before.
Their latest sit-down wasn't just two guys complaining about politics. It was a brutal reality check about how deep the tribalism rabbit hole goes. Both of them were basically saying, civil debate, meaningful disagreement, that's practically extinct. These days, your political identity isn't just how you vote. It's your entire social credit score. You step 1 inch out of line from your party, and bam, you're cancelled, disowned, or worse. Maher, who's made a career out of torching extremists on both sides, nailed it. Politics isn't about persuading anymore. It's about flexing. It's all moral grandstanding and virtue signaling, like some cringy competition over who's pure enough for their own team. On the left, it's all about rigid ideological purity. On the right, it's all chest-thumping nationalism. Different outfits, same toxic energy. And Carville wasn't sugarcoating it either. He straight up said Americans care more about passing purity tests than passing good policies. Thanks to media outlets that are basically rage factories now, people aren't getting smarter, they're just getting angrier. News today isn't about informing you. It's about fueling your outrage so you stay locked inside your little political echo chamber. And what's the cost? Oh, just the complete collapse of compromise. In today's world, trying to find middle ground makes you look weak. Political opponents aren't just wrong anymore. They're evil. That's where we are, folks. Both Maher and Carville warned, if we keep sprinting down this road, there's no coming back. America will be trapped in a forever cycle of division, where winning the argument matters more than actually fixing anything. But here's the kicker. They didn't just diagnose the problem. They challenged us. If we want to save democracy, we have to stop living in these ideological bubbles. We've got to get uncomfortable again. We've got to actually listen to people we disagree with. Because if we don't, the divide won't just stay, it'll get worse. So yeah, this wasn't just another political chat. It was a giant flashing wake-up call for everyone paying attention.
Public. And confesses to them. And like, I got rid of the FBI director because there was a lot of pressure on me. Like, yes, that's your interior monologue. There's a lot of pressure on me because the FBI is looking into me for good reason. You don't say, so I invited the Russians in. I mean, like, it's so beyond it. This is not...
the Russian ambassador showing him top secret shit. He was showing a guy at Bedminster, look at these...
But I mean, he does one a day, or he did when he was president, like something that only a nut would do. It's amazing to me that we lived through those 4 years, because when I look back on it, and of course the Trump people say, oh, you know, you have Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, he blew up the world, right, Bill? I don't you know, you're right, he didn't blow up the world. I still think he could, okay? Is that completely crazy that I think a crazy person could blow up the world? No.
The shit that he did is like stunning.
I'm saying, I know.
The documents case, if you stop and you think about it, like one time...
I could read 1,000 tweets that are just insane that just went by. I remember there was one that said he was mad at China, and he said, I hereby, like he's the king, I hereby order all American companies to immediately, you know, work on a plan to change your, he was like ordering them to get out of China. I hereby order. And again, that's just insane that nobody else would even think to do that. But he doesn't think. That's his insanity and his attraction to people.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, history eventually finds out. They find this asshole Pius XII. They found the letter where they told him they were gassing.
The Pope during World War II?
Yeah. All right, we know from history he's been outed, I guess is what you would say.
Right.
Do you think, when all the history is known, would you guess that the Russians have compromise on Trump, or that's just liberal factors?
No, I have always said that the Russian hoax theory is a hoax. Plainly, there was something going on between Russia and Trump. It was not perhaps, first of all, I always thought Mueller blew it.
Carville, this guy's a battle-hardened veteran of American politics, knows the game better than almost anyone alive. And he's not here to sugarcoat it. He laid it out plain. In politics, the enemies you make are just as important as the friends you keep. That's not cynicism. That's the cold, hard reality of how power really moves in Washington. We're living in an era where political loyalty is treated like some kind of moral purity test, but Carville cuts right through that noise. Politics isn't about feeling good, it's about winning. And if you want to win, you have to know exactly who's on your side, and just as importantly, who's trying to take you out. And here's where it gets real spicy. Carville has a big-time warning for Democrats. Do not underestimate Donald Trump. Yeah, I know. Scandals, court cases, constant chaos. But guess what? Trump is still a beast at the ballot box. He's got this scary good ability to tap into the anger and resentment of voters who feel abandoned by the political elites. Carville's basically screaming from the rooftops, don't make the same mistake twice. Democrats laughed Trump off once before, and look where that got them. You keep treating him like a political clown, and you're going to wake up to another electoral earthquake. And honestly, Carville's calling out a bigger flaw in the Democratic playbook. Too many Dems are obsessed with being morally right instead of being strategically smart. They celebrate every policy win and demographic shift like it's game over. Meanwhile, Trump's out here turning every attack, every scandal, every hater into rocket fuel for his movement. His secret sauce? It's not policy. It's not even logic. It's resentment. He weaponizes enemies, the media, Democrats, his own party's leadership, and spins that into loyalty with his base. That's why no matter how much chaos surrounds him, they're still ride or die. Carville's message couldn't be clearer. Winning is warfare, not a moral purity contest. Trump isn't invincible, but if Democrats keep underestimating him, they're setting themselves up for another brutal election night. In today's hyperpartisanness, knowing your enemies is survival 101. Carville isn't just giving advice, he's waving a giant red warning flag. Ignore it at your own risk. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more hard-hitting political breakdowns, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Your support keeps this community growing. Catch you in the next one. It's gonna be wild.